Every number has a story, every report answers a question, and every insight gives us an opportunity to serve women more effectively. I'm Kelly Berry, Next Level Manager for Heartbeat International. Last episode, we talked about setting meaningful mission goals. Today, we're taking the next step. We're discussing how to use data to improve marketing. Once we've decided what success looks like, how do we know if we're actually reaching the women we hope to serve? Because marketing isn't just about getting attention. Marketing is about reaching the people your mission is intended to help. In our case, that's typically women considering abortion for their pregnancies. Our data can tell us whether we're doing that well. But before we get into the data, let's start with a familiar story. Imagine you're trying to find a friend at a crowded mall. You know she's somewhere inside, so you begin looking. You check the food court. You walk around the entrances. You search the department stores. Someone then asks you, "Can I help you find anything?" You stop, exasperated. "Yes, my friend." Do you know where she entered? No. Do you know where she usually shops? Not really. You've been working really hard, looking all over this mall, but you've been looking without any information about where she could be. You've been looking for nearly an hour when she finally texts you the store to meet her at. Suddenly, everything changes. You stop wondering. You start walking with a purpose. Within minutes, you've found her. Marketing can feel exactly like that. Many centers are working incredibly hard. They're posting on social media, updating websites, buying advertisements, creating brochures, hosting events. But sometimes they're doing all of that without first asking, who are we actually reaching? Who do we actually want to reach? That's what data helps answer. Not because we're trying to become better marketers, because we're trying to become better at reaching the women our mission exists to serve. One center leader said something I absolutely love. Next Level helps us understand what's happening in our ministry so we can make better decisions. That's exactly what this episode is about. We're not learning reports. We're learning how to make better ministry decisions. Another leader recently said, we're making decisions based on data, not assumptions. Think about that. Every center makes marketing decisions. The question isn't whether you're making them. The question is, what are you making them from? Are they based on assumptions, or are they based on what your ministry is actually telling you? Data doesn't replace wisdom. It informs wisdom. Now, let's look at a chart with sample data. If you are listening only, the show notes has a link to the chart. Okay, so this first one is age demographics. At first glance, this looks like a simple demographics report, a bar chart with percentages showing us the breakdown by age groups. It's easy to look at and simply describe what you see. But leaders don't stop at describing the data. They ask a better question. Who are we actually reaching? In this example, about 70% of our clients are between the ages of 18 and 34. Is that what we want to know? This report could simply just tell us the ages of our clients, but it has a greater use. It's to help us evaluate whether our outreach is connecting with the women our mission exists to serve. In this example, about 70% of clients are between 18 and 34 years old. But we shouldn't ask simply, is that a good number? Instead, does this age group encompass who we aim to serve in our mission statement? If the answer is yes, then this data may confirm that our marketing and outreach are connecting with the women we are called to serve. If the answer is no, or only partly, then the report is showing us a gap between our mission and our current reach. Maybe we are reaching one part of our intended audience very well, but missing another. Maybe our website, language, imagery, or outreach channels are naturally attracting this age group. And maybe that is exactly what we want. But we should know that intentionally. We can prove it or not with data. Data helps us compare who we say we want to reach with who is actually walking through our doors. Based on how the data looks, we need to determine what we are doing to cause the data to look this way. And that leads us to the next practical question. Does our website speak to the women in that age group? Do our other marketing materials speak to that age group? Does our imagery reflect them? Does our language connect with them? Are we showing up in places where they are actually looking for help? Data helps us compare who we say we want to reach with who is actually the people that we're reaching, and then decide whether our marketing supports that mission. Does our messaging connect with them? Are we advertising where they actually spend time? Now, another question, who aren't we reaching? Very few clients on this chart show that they are under 18, and then very few are over 34. Very few are over 45, even less. Or could it point to a group that we're not connecting with? Perhaps we want to connect more with the 35 to 44-year-olds, or maybe this is exactly what we expect. Maybe this is exactly right. This report may not give us the complete answer, but it shows us where to look more closely. From there, leaders can compare this information with other reports, community needs, or marketing efforts, and the center's mission to decide whether a change is needed. One of the biggest mistakes organizations make is trying to market to everyone. Instead of asking, how do we reach everyone, or how do we get more clients in the door, we look at our data to find out who we are reaching, and is that the people that we want to reach? Are we reaching the women our mission calls us to serve? Or are there gaps? That's a very different conversation than how many are we reaching? So the purpose of this report isn't simply to tell us the ages of our clients, although it tells us that. It's to help us evaluate whether our outreach is connecting with the women our mission exists to serve. So remember, no single report tells the whole story. Think of each report as a chapter. Together, they help you understand your ministry and make informed decisions. The key is to start with a question, use the report that best answers it, and then continue exploring if you need a fuller example. So age demographics helps us understand who we are reaching, but marketing is not only about who we are reaching. Next, we need to ask, are we reaching the women who need us most? That brings us to the next report, reaching at-risk clients this year. So the next chart that we're going to look at, notice that it isn't measuring website traffic. It isn't measuring clicks. It isn't measuring social media engagement. Those things are helpful, but they aren't the mission. This report is asking a much more important question. Are we reaching women at risk of choosing abortion? So in this chart, it's another bar graph. In this chart, it's telling us our goal is 75%. And then you see our goal as a line compared with what we did last month with our percentage of at-risk clients year to date and last year. So our goal is 75%. Our current year is 70.6%. And last year we reached 77.6%. Now, before we jump to conclusions, let's slow down and ask a few questions. First, are we going to meet our goal? Well, at this pace, it doesn't look like it. Second, are we moving in the right direction? Possibly, because we're moving from 70.2% to 70.6%. But something seems like we need to dig a little bit deeper. Compared to last year, we've actually decreased. That doesn't automatically mean we're doing something wrong, but it tells us something has changed, and that's worth understanding. Now, let's look at the trend. If this is a 1-year dip, then that might have an explanation that we have no worries about. Or is this a percentage that changed over several months? Or is it perhaps something that happens at a certain time of year, like a monthly or quarterly trend, that can tell us whether we're looking at a temporary fluctuation, or is this a longer-term pattern? That's one reason Next Level is continuing to add comparison reports to all the different aspects of our reporting so that you can do a comparison over different time periods and see what those trends might be. That helps us understand things like what changed. Did your community change? Did another pregnancy center open nearby? Did abortion providers near you increase advertising? Or did we change our website? Or maybe you need to think about your logistics. Did your scheduling process become easier or harder? Did we stop doing an outreach event that would have limited the number of people that hear about us? Or did we change how we do referrals? Notice there's no one saying this is good or this is bad. We're asking, what is this data telling us? That's a much better leadership question because data gives us stories to follow. It gives us a place to begin conversations. So there's also something else to notice here. This report isn't just giving you a percentage. It's comparing the percentage to a goal. It's comparing it to last year. Those comparisons are what make the report useful. So without a goal, as we discussed last time, you don't know what you're aiming for. Without a comparison, you don't know whether you're improving. Numbers become meaningful when you compare them to something. Again, that's why we've started adding those comparison reports. Want to help you reach your mission-minded goals. So one director shared something that captures this perfectly. Data drives many of the decisions we make about the mission. I love that because this report isn't here to criticize your ministry. It's here to help you ask better questions, identify opportunities, and make informed decisions about where to focus your efforts. And maybe to also celebrate your ministry. It could be a variety of things, but no matter what it is, I'm hoping that it is something that helps you achieve your mission more effectively. So, what do we do next? Start with a report, notice the trend, compare it to your goal. Then ask why. Why are we up? Why are we down? What could be causing this? Use other reports to help answer that question. A demographics report might show that you're reaching a different audience than before or than you expected. Maybe a client's report reveals more women are coming to you later in the decision-making process. Or maybe your services report shows that people are asking for different services. Or maybe a smaller percentage are at risk. Each report adds another chapter to the story. Finally, decide what action to take. Maybe it's improving your website, strengthening a community partnership, or maybe it's something with search engine optimization or Google Ads or other social media sources. You could also go to logistics. One barrier that we often find with clients is transportation or childcare or scheduling. And so you could also do telecare. Next Level does offer video conferencing right within the app so that you don't have to worry about that being a barrier for any of your clients. That could change how you reach and who you reach and help you achieve your mission better. The answer will be different for every center. The important thing is that your decisions are guided by evidence, aligned with your mission, and measured over time. So before next month, choose one marketing decision, just one, then ask yourself, what is our data telling us? What assumptions have we been making? And what one change should we test? Again, just one. Then measure what happens, because that's how improvement works. We don't guess, we learn, we adjust, and then we measure again. The goal isn't better marketing. The goal is making sure the women your mission exists to serve know you can offer hope when they need it most, that you can offer them hope. Good marketing doesn't just increase awareness. It helps the right women find the right help at the right time. Your data helps you understand whether your outreach is connecting with those women, where there are opportunities to improve, and how to measure whether your efforts are making a difference. Reports don't make a difference. The decisions they inspire do. Thank you for joining me for another episode of The Power of Data Stories. Remember, every number has a story, and every story matters. Next month, we'll build on this conversation by exploring how your reports can help you better understand what your clients need, improve your services, and ultimately increase your ministry's impact. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you join me next time too. Thank you.